Hello, my Diamond Heads. Welcome to In the Zone podcast. I'm your host, Diamond Zone, and we're going to get started in a few seconds, up to a minute. But right now, just going to chill out, just going to chill. And yeah, of course, I'm wearing a hat today because I did shave my head. And yeah, I shaved my head, so I ain't going to show. I ain't showing. I ain't showing it. I ain't showing it. Today was crazy hair day at my job, so yeah, I had to. I used hair dye. I used spray on hair dye. It was way too hard for me to get all that off, so I just shaved it off. So yeah, I'm bald for the next couple of weeks or up to a month. We'll see. Okay, all right. So, anyways, introduction again. Welcome to the. Hello, welcome to In the Zone podcast. I'm your host, Diamond Zone, and today we are going to be. All right, never mind. And today we all have. Today we're gonna review Psych2Go's burnout video. Yeah. So we all had burnout before. Well, we all had burnout before. Hold on, just give me one moment. All right. Anyways, we all had burnout before. That's a fact. We all had burnout before. Um, if anything, for me, not only have burnout, but I also have creative blocks. Like just like it's the same thing as writer's block. Creative block is the same thing as writer's block. There'll be times where I don't know what to draw. In this case, there'll be times where I just don't have the energy to post things or make edits or whatnot. So yeah, there's some of the reasons why the reason, not the main reason, but the reason why I sometimes cancel my podcast is because I do have burnout, and either burnout or creative block or both. That's the reason. That's a reason. The main reason is be like family reasons, like family emergencies, grieving, stuff like that. But yeah, we all have. But we're not talking. But let me backtrack. But today we're going to be talking about. Going to be talking. Well, we're going to be again. We're going to be looking at Psych2Go's burnout video. It's called Six Signs You're Burnout. You're burnt out, not lazy. So let's get into that. Let's get into that. Put on display capture. Put on display capture. Tiny me. Let me adjust this. There we go. Just all right, yeah. All right, and here we go. Let me guess.
If
Ad.
you've been injured
Called
in a
it.
car accident, don't call an attorney. Use this AI app instead.
I don't care about.
Why does it seem like you spend most of your time in bed, lying down and not doing much lately? Are you someone who easily gets tired and doesn't feel like doing anything? Do you label this kind of behavior as mere laziness and nothing more? There's actually a lot of overlap between laziness and burnout that can make it difficult to differentiate between the two. Burnout is a negative state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive stress and inability to cope with it. And as of 2010, a survey reported that approximately 75% of adults in the United States alone have experienced symptoms of burnout, with over 40% of cases being more severe. Now, more than ever, it's become imperative to educate and better understand the nature of burnout. So with that said, here are 6 telltale signs that what you're experiencing right now isn't actually laziness, but burnout.
I'm gonna pause it right here so I can read the disclaimer. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes and is based on personal opinions. This video is not a substitute for professional advice, but for general guidance. We advise you to always listen to your intuition and always do what's right for you.
Number 1. You feel disconnected from everything. Are you going through the motions of every day as if on autopilot? Is there a persistent feeling of being detached from your own self? If
Sometimes,
you're suffering from
on my end,
burnout, one of the things you might be experiencing but don't quite realize or understand is depersonalization. People experiencing depersonalization, most commonly those struggling with trauma, report feeling a strange sort of emotional numbness or emptiness, as if they were watching life from outside of themselves. They don't feel like themselves anymore. They don't feel engaged by anything, and they constantly struggle with the overwhelming sense of helplessness and inability to take back control of their lives. Number 2.
all right. So the first one, let's go back just a bit. Disconnected from everything. Yeah. For me, that happens sometimes, especially when my depression gets too much. I do feel disconnected. So, yeah. Especially and also especially when it comes to my autism and ADHD. Sometimes I get way too bored to the point where I go on autopilot. Um, most that happens frequently when it comes to school because I'm bored majority of the time, and I do have attention deficit. Yeah, it's ADHD. If you don't know, ADHD stands for attention deficit attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Yeah, attention attention deficit hyperactive disorder. For me, um, if anything, I don't know why I've been diagnosed with ADHD. I don't know. I don't know why or how, but I know that I disconnect from school. At least, well, I disconnect when it comes to classes. Especially when I get too bored. One, or when the lights are off. Two, and I'm trying to learn. Whenever the lights are off, I try, even though I try my best to stay focused. I always tend to just be like not paying attention. And it's not on purpose either. It's always on that. It's always on not. It's always non intentional. That's what I'm trying to say. It's always non intentional. I don't intend to do it on purpose. It's just like I can't control it. I try my best to stay focused, but majority of the time I don't stay focused. I just look around or just stare off into space. So um yeah, that's where the disconnection comes. That's where the disconnection on my end comes from, at least.
You used to be motivated. Laziness is a character
Ooh.
trait, and character traits tend to remain stable over time. A lazy person doesn't ever feel like exerting effort or applying themselves to things. But if you used to be self-motivated and high-achieving, often excelling in certain areas, and have only recently become exhausted, apathetic, and unmotivated, then it's more likely that you're suffering from burnout and not laziness like most people would think. Number 3.
Ooh. Ooh. Let's go back to that one more time.
Number 2. You used to be motivated.
Ooh. Ooh. I dang. Motivation is hard to come by on my end. Motivation is hard to deal with sometimes. Well, not hard to deal with, but hard to obtain sometimes. Sheesh. Again, I've been diagnosed with depression as well. So, ooh boy. I am now getting my motivation back. I'm getting it back slowly but surely. But when I first got diagnosed with depression, I was no longer motivated to do anything. Ooh, I swear. Like I said, I used to be motivated a lot before my depression. Especially when I was a young kid. I used to be motivated to do a lot of things. Heck, a lot of my career, like a lot of things I wanted to do when I was younger, are like motivational based in a way. So let me. All right.
And not laziness like most people would think. Number 3. You used to be passionate. A clear difference between someone who's burnt out and someone who's lazy is that the former used to have things they were passionate about, but may now be struggling to find interest or enjoyment in anymore. Whether it's a talent, a sport, or just your academic or professional performance in general, burnout can make it hard for you to do the things you once loved or felt passionate about. You might even come to hate or resent it because of how much you overworked yourself and pushed yourself to the brink because of it. Ouch. Number 4.
Um, that one I cannot relate to. I can't relate to that one a lot. Let's go. Let's go back.
Number 3.
Let's go back right
You
here.
used to be passionate.
All right. So to be honest, this one I cannot relate so much about because I am a passionate person. I have. I am a passionate person. So even with burnout, I still have passion, but just the burnout just makes it hard for me to deal to like go through it. Um, but yeah, this is something I'm not completely. This is something I really can't relate to. So much at least.
Number 4. You've become moody and irritable. Do you suddenly find yourself snappy and easily irritated? Do you often feel emotionally out of control nowadays and don't know why? Moodiness and irritability are common but often overlooked signs of burnout. So if you start to have trouble controlling your emotions, especially
I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this for a second time. School. School is the reason why I have burnout in the first place. School expects so much from us students, and for those of us that have learning disability or attention for some reason why I say that attention disorders, some sort of attention disorders. Good luck, because the school system isn't made properly isn't made properly for people who are neurodivergent. Um, hold on. I'm gonna be right back real quick. I'm gonna be right back real quick. All right, I'm back. I got me some water. All right. So where were we? Right here.
one may be emotionally and physically burnt out is if you start neglecting your self-care and socially withdraw from others.
Oh wait. Oh wait. No, we weren't. We were right here.
Out
Sorry.
of control nowadays and don't know why. Moodiness and irritability are common but often overlooked signs of burnout. So if you start to have trouble controlling your emotions, especially when it never used to be a problem for you, this might be the reason why. Lazy people, on the other hand, are a stark contrast to this because they're often very relaxed, laid back, placid, and unaffected by things. Number 5. You've neglected your self-care. One of the most
Self care is so important. That's all I gotta say about it. Self care is so important. Without it, we wouldn't. We'll be literally we'll literally be the former selves or a shell of ourselves.
Distressing warning signs that someone may be emotionally and physically burnt out is if you start neglecting your self-care and socially withdraw from others. There are concerning changes in your eating and or sleeping patterns. You stop making an effort to groom yourself or look good, and you tend to spend most of your time by yourself doing nothing because you're so easily exhausted by even the simplest of tasks. The difference between being burnt out and laziness are starkly in the fact that you weren't always this way. And number 6, these changes happened gradually. Finally, but perhaps most importantly, something you should know about burnout is that it develops in stages. So all of the points mentioned before, losing interest and motivation, especially in things we used to love, feeling detached from yourself and disconnected from everything around you, socially withdrawing and neglecting your self-care, won't just happen overnight. Studies show that there are actually 5 major stages of burnout, each with increasing degrees of severity. The honeymoon phase, the onset of stress, chronic stress, burnout, and habitual burnout. Many people begin to experience symptoms as early as the second phase, when there is still a moderate amount of stress, but optimism, interest, motivation, and performance may already start declining. And by the time you reach the 5th and final stage, burnout has already become so embedded in your life that the persistent mental and physical fatigue become more intense and harder to treat, making you more vulnerable to developing depression and anxiety. Spotting the signs of burnout early makes it all the more easier for you to get help and recover from it. That's why it's so important to raise awareness about burnout instead of simply dismissing it as laziness, like most people tend to do. So if you or anyone you know may be suffering from mental or emotional burnout, please don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health care professional today and talk to them about it. If you find this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button. Feel free to leave a comment down below with your thoughts, experiences, and suggestions, and share it with those out there battling the haze of burnout. Don't forget to subscribe to Psych2Go and hit the notification bell for more new videos. And as always, thanks for watching.
All right, so that is all on burnout. Now, whoopsies. There we go. Yeah, burnout can lead. I think that. Well, I shouldn't say I think. Nor do I know. So, whew. Yeah, that's a lot to take in, though. That is a lot to take in. Not gonna lie. Let's take a breather. Whew. But yeah, that's a lot to take in. But yeah, burnout. It happens. Burnout. We all get burned out at one point or some point in our lifetime. We all get burned out. We all get burned out at one point or another. The most important when it comes to burnout is to notice when you're burnt out. Like notice the signs that you're becoming burnt out, and take the time to rest and de-stress, because to me I think that's the best way to combat burnout is to take breaks and yeah, to take breaks, take time to yourself, um and not worry about a lot of things. Again, I know I mentioned school a lot because to me school is like the it's like a hive for burnout and unnecessary competitions within peers. But yeah, when it comes, but yeah, um, s- school and work are pinnacle are like a hive for burnout, or hive for burnout and depression. When it comes to when it comes to work, when you're working a job that you don't like, when it comes to the job that you don't like to work at, that's I think that you can get depression a lot more. I think that you're high susceptible to getting depression more when it comes to that. When it comes to school, K through 12 schooling, not higher education, but K through 12. more specifically middle school and high school, yeah, burnout happens. It's a That's a hive for burnouts. HIV hive. But yeah, the most important thing when it comes to noticing burnouts is one, notice a burnout before it gets to stage 5, and two, when you notice it early, take the time to rest. Take the time to rest. Take the time to relax, decompress, all that stuff. Well, all right. Um, if anything, I'm going to cut it short today. I am going to cut it short today because I am a little bit tired. I've been tired a little bit all day today, so yeah. Um. Anyways, have a good. Wow. Is it going to be close to daylight saving time already? It really feels like it's going to be close to daylight saving time already. Regardless, have a good night. I guess. Um, have a good night. I guess. Drink water. Drink the agua, not the agua fresca, but drink the water. Drink water, and have a good rest of your evening. Have a good rest of your evening.